Beloved, stop scrolling, close the other tabs in your mind. Because what you're about to hear is not coincidence. It's a divine appointment. Heaven has been waiting for this very moment to reach you. Yes, you. This message did not show up randomly. It was written into your timeline long before your breath entered this world. You may not understand all that's been happening lately, the delays, the strange emotional waves, the moments where your heart felt heavy without a reason, but heaven understands. And now, the veil is lifting. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not wandering. You have been guided. And the voice you're hearing now is not just human. It is a whisper from the throne room, carried by the one who wars for you, Archangel Michael. Heaven says, "My child, be still. Listen closely. What I am about to reveal is the reason your heart has been stirred, your dreams have shifted, and your soul has been searching. There have been days when you've asked, why do I feel this way? You've felt distant, overlooked, tired of fighting silent battles no one sees. But right now, heaven leans in to speak directly to you. The timing of this message is not delayed, it's not early, it is exactly on time. Psalm 139:16 declares, "Your eyes saw my unformed body, all the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." That means this very moment was written in God's eternal book before you ever faced your first heartbreak, before the diagnosis, before the betrayal, before the loneliness crept in. Heaven marked this moment with ink that cannot fade. Archangel Michael has been dispatched, assigned by the courts of heaven, to ensure this word reaches you intact, not to bring fear, but to bring clarity. Not to stir panic, but to realign you with the truth of your calling and the protection that already surrounds you. You see, while you were busy surviving, heaven was already intervening. While you were questioning your worth, the angels were standing guard. While you were asking, why am I still here? Heaven was saying, because you are chosen and we're not finished yet. This message comes as a spiritual summons. The air around you is shifting even now. Can you feel it? The breath of God is beginning to move again in the dry places of your heart. And Archangel Michael speaks. You were not overlooked. You were hidden for protection. You were not delayed. You were preserved for the right moment. And this is the moment. Your tears have not been wasted. Your prayers were not lost in the silence. Your waiting has not been in vain. Even when no one else saw what you were carrying, heaven saw. Even when people misunderstood your obedience, the courts of heaven recorded it. Bam! And now, healing begins. But healing doesn't start with a miracle. It begins with alignment. It starts when you realize, I am not abandoned. I am appointed. Healing flows not from striving, but from surrender. The moment you lean into heaven's whisper, you align with heaven's wind. And the wind of God is blowing gently now, clearing what once clouded your spirit. Listen carefully. This is not just a message. It is a prophetic unveiling. You were led here because you've been asking for answers in secret. You've been saying, God, if you're real, if you're still with me, show me something, say something, reveal something. And this is heaven's response. I never left, and I am speaking now. You are not under attack by chance. You've been under assignment. The enemy fears what is inside you. That's why the pressure has been mounting. That's why the confusion has been so thick. Because the moment you come into agreement with this truth, the enemy loses his grip. You are not simply recovering. You are being reactivated. You are not just enduring. You are being enlisted again, as one who walks under divine protection and carries divine purpose. The things that tried to destroy you will not follow you into this next season. Heaven has drawn the line. I, Michael, declare by the command of the Most High, the days of blind survival are ending. The days of clarity, authority, and covering have begun. Declare it out loud wherever you are. I receive this divine alignment. I am not here by accident. I am chosen. I am covered. If your spirit feels this, type it in the comments. This was for me. I am in divine alignment. Speak it, claim it. Heaven responds to your agreement. Now take a deep breath. Let the peace of God begin to settle around your shoulders. You are not being called into chaos. You are being called into clarity. The voice of heaven is restoring what fear tried to steal. Let your heart be still. Let your spirit open. Because the protection you've been praying for is not coming, it's already here. Angels have already been stationed, and Archangel Michael is not just watching, he is fighting. Every word spoken against you, every curse lingering in the dark, every fear waiting at the door, he has drawn his sword, and the battle is being won in the invisible realm even now. This moment is sacred. This message is sealed. And you are not who you were before you pressed play. As we move forward together, heaven is going to reveal what's been trying to block you in silence, what's been stealing your rest, draining your strength, and targeting your future. You deserve to know what's been operating in the shadows, and more importantly, how to walk in the light of divine protection. So stay close, don't leave. The next part will reveal what's been attacking you unseen, and how heaven is shutting the door for good. If you believe Archangel Michael is guarding you tonight, type "protected" in the comments as your declaration of faith and covering. Beloved, breathe. What's been fighting you lately, the heaviness, the tension, the unexplainable exhaustion, it isn't a person. It isn't coincidence. It's spiritual resistance. You've been sensing pressure, misunderstanding, and strange opposition that seem to rise just when you start to move forward. And heaven is saying, do not take it personally. This is not human warfare, it is spiritual. Heaven opens this message with truth from Ephesians 6:12 NIV. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You have not been imagining the resistance. The confusion you've felt is not weakness, it's warfare. The delays that keep circling back are not bad luck, they're targeted distractions. The arguments that appear from nowhere, the waves of fatigue that hit you right after prayer, the moments when you lose your peace without knowing why, none of that is random. You are standing on holy ground, and because of that, opposition has tried to form around you. But hear this, the battle may be spiritual, but victory is already declared. Archangel Michael, heaven's warrior and defender of the chosen, speaks now. The enemy has been working to confuse your mind, delay your purpose, and distract your focus. Yet none of his plans will prevail, because heaven has already positioned angels around your path. For too long, you've looked at the people around you and thought, why are they acting this way? Why does this keep happening? But the Lord says, stop fighting flesh with flesh. What you are dealing with goes deeper. The struggle is not with them, it's with the spirit that works through circumstance to drain your strength and silence your faith. You've been battling unseen interference, spiritual static meant to blur your clarity. But clarity is returning now. Archangel Michael has drawn his sword of truth, and the fog around your spirit is lifting. Heaven is uncovering the enemy's threefold strategy: confusion, delay, and distraction. First, confusion. The enemy loves to twist what God has made clear. He stirs anxiety and doubt. He whispers, "Did God really say that? Are you sure you're chosen? Are you sure you're protected?" He knows if he can confuse your belief, he can weaken your authority. But Archangel Michael speaks now, saying, "The fog is clearing. Truth is cutting through the noise. Right now, God is re-establishing your spiritual footing. Every lie that told you you're behind or forgotten is dissolving. You are exactly where heaven needs you to be for this moment of revelation." Second, delay. This one hurts the most because it feels like stillness without progress. You've prayed, fasted, and believed, and yet the answer seems stuck. Heaven reveals that some of those delays were not denials, but battles in the unseen. The enemy has been trying to intercept your breakthrough before it manifests. Yet Michael declares, the resistance is breaking. What was held up is being released. Daniel 10:13 reminds us of this same reality. The angel told Daniel, "From the first day you set your heart to understand, your words were heard. But the prince of Persia resisted me for 21 days. Even then, Archangel Michael was the one who came to help deliver the message. That same warrior spirit is with you now, breaking the delay that has lingered over your prayers. What was hindered in the spiritual realm is about to manifest in your favor. Third, distraction. When the enemy can't destroy you, he tries to distract you. He makes you tired, busy, or preoccupied with battles that don't belong to you. He whispers offenses into your relationships. He fuels unnecessary conflict and drains your time with things that don't carry eternal weight. But heaven says, peace will now become your weapon, clarity will become your shield. You will no longer waste strength on distractions. Beloved, protection requires spiritual vision, not emotional reaction. Heaven is teaching you to see beyond what is visible, to pause before reacting, to discern before responding. The more you see through spiritual eyes, the less the enemy can manipulate your emotions. When you stop reacting to every noise, you become a threat to darkness itself. Archangel Michael reminds you, your stillness is not weakness, it is authority. The enemy cannot thrive in the presence of peaceful discernment. So every time you choose peace over panic, forgiveness over bitterness, worship over worry, you are winning battles you don't even see. Heaven wants you to understand, you are not powerless, you are protected under command. Archangel Michael is not distant, he is positioned. The sword of light he carries has been drawn on your behalf. Around your home, your mind, your health, your children, your path, an angelic perimeter has been established. Some of the accidents you avoided, the words that never reached you, the breakdowns that didn't happen, those were not luck. Those were interventions. Heaven blocked it before it could touch you. The enemy's power is limited, but your covering is unlimited. You are standing in a field surrounded by light, divine security that cannot be penetrated. Even now, angels are reinforcing your spiritual borders. The chaos you sense around you is the sound of spiritual eviction. Take a deep breath. Heaven is not exposing this battle to make you afraid, but to make you aware. Awareness brings authority. The moment you recognize that your real enemy is invisible, you stop wasting strength fighting the wrong fights. And when you stop fighting people, peace rushes in. Say this aloud now. Father, open my eyes to see what's really happening. Teach me to fight with faith, not frustration. Remind me that my enemies are not flesh and blood, but defeated forces under your command. Archangel Michael is stepping forward even now. His wings spread wide, light emanates breaking through the unseen realm. The chains of confusion begin to shatter. The atmosphere around you is shifting. You may feel warmth on your skin or a sudden calm rising in your chest. That is not imagination, it's alignment. Heaven is surrounding you again. If you feel this in your spirit, type in faith. I see clearly. I am covered by heaven's light. Let the declaration echo. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Not in your health, not in your home, not in your mind, not in your relationships. Every false energy, every whisper of fear, every unseen interference that has tried to block your progress is being dismantled by heaven's decree. The sword of Michael flashes with holy fire, cutting through layers of resistance that have hovered over your life for too long. You may have been feeling tired, but strength is returning. You may have felt confused, but wisdom is awakening. You may have been spiritually numb, but your discernment is reactivating now. Stay calm, child of light. Heaven does not lose battles. It only trains victors. You are not the victim of warfare. You are the testimony that proves protection works. Heaven says, you are not surrounded by darkness. Darkness is surrounded by you. Archangel Michael has been standing guard long before you even prayed. The angels have been stationed not just to defend, but to deliver. Your name has been recognized in heaven's courts, and your covering has been confirmed. Rest in this truth. What's been fighting you will now flee from you, not because you shout louder, but because you now see clearer. Stay close, beloved. In the next part, heaven will uncover what's been following your family line. Those inherited battles that have disguised themselves as normal patterns. What's been passed down can be broken, and what's been hidden will be revealed. Stay with me. Heaven is about to expose what tried to attach to your bloodline. Beloved, take a breath. The weight you've been carrying, the sadness that comes and goes like waves, the fear that seems older than your years, the struggle that keeps repeating in your life, it didn't begin with you. Heaven says, some of what you're carrying was never yours to carry. It began generations ago. There are stories written in your blood, patterns woven into your lineage, but tonight, heaven opens the record and says, enough. The chains of the past are being brought into the light. And Archangel Michael stands here, not as a messenger of judgment, but as the announcer of freedom. What ran through your family line stops with you. The Word of God confirms this in Exodus 25:6, NIV. I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. Heaven says the generational story is changing. The curse has met resistance, and the resistance is you. Archangel Michael speaks now. The same way you inherited your name, you also inherited battles, some visible, some invisible. Yet heaven has chosen you to be the bloodline breaker, the one who ends what should have never begun. Beloved, listen carefully. There are burdens that did not originate in your decisions. Trauma, illness, lack, fear, cycles of betrayal, addiction, or emotional isolation. Some of them have echoed down through generations like a song sung in a house no one remembered building. But tonight, heaven reveals that you have been preserved to rewrite your family's ending. You've felt it, haven't you? That deep ache that doesn't make sense, the guilt that appears when nothing is wrong, the sudden sadness when you should feel joy. Those are not random emotions, they are echoes. Echoes of what your bloodline endured without healing. Heaven is not exposing this to shame you, it is exposing it to free you. You have cried prayers your ancestors never had words for. You have faced fears they tried to bury. You have broken through walls that generations before you accepted as normal. Heaven says, you are the chosen interruption. Archangel Michael continues, the curse ends here. The guilt ends here. The self-blame ends here. The chains are breaking even now. Right now, the light of heaven is entering the family story that once felt cursed. See it in your spirit. A line of generations standing behind you, faces you may not know by name, yet heaven knows them all. Some carried regret. Some died in shame. Some longed for healing but never found it. And now, as you stand here, light begins to flow backward through time, washing over them, cleansing their legacy through your obedience. You are not just healing for yourself, you are healing for everyone who came before you. There's been a wound in your family, perhaps a cycle of loss, fear, or broken relationships. You've wondered why it keeps happening, but heaven says, it wasn't because you were cursed, it was because I chose you to end it. The pain became the place of your calling. The generational fracture became the doorway for your anointing. And now, the angels rejoice because the wound that once repeated itself is being rewritten into a testimony. Some of the resistance you faced wasn't punishment, it was inheritance. You were fighting old spiritual contracts made by those who came before you, but heaven's decree cancels them now. Archangel Michael raises his sword of light, and you can almost hear the sound, chains shattering in the unseen. The atmosphere around you shifts. The curse that once whispered, "You'll never be different," has just been silenced. Say this aloud. I am the bloodline breaker. I am chosen for healing. I am covered by the mercy of God. Let the tears come. Healing often sounds like weeping before it sounds like worship. Heaven isn't ashamed of your tears. Heaven collects them. Every tear you've cried for your family has been a seed of deliverance. And now, heaven is watering those seeds with grace. You may have carried guilt for things that were never your fault. Family brokenness, poverty, silence, addiction, fear, illness. But the Spirit of the Lord says, release it now. You were never called to carry what Christ already carried to the cross. Let your hands open. Breathe out the weight. Heaven says, you are not responsible for fixing the past. You are responsible for standing in the present with faith. The shame that once followed your name is being replaced by favor. The sickness that seemed to shadow your family is being healed through your faith. The financial lack that always returned like a tide is being broken by divine provision. The fear that taught every generation to settle is being replaced by courage that will lead your descendants into promise. Archangel Michael declares, heaven has preserved you for this healing. You are the turning point. Every generation before you prayed for someone like you, someone who would not break under pressure, someone who would not bow to fear, someone who would remember who they are. You are not weak, beloved. You are the proof that grace runs deeper than generational pain. Now, I want you to close your eyes and picture a great book in heaven, the record of your bloodline. For years, its pages have told stories of struggle, disappointment, delay. But now, a hand dipped in light begins to write new words: mercy, restoration, healing, protection. Heaven is rewriting the legacy in your name. Where there was addiction, there will be peace. Where there was silence, there will be prayer. Where there was loss, there will be abundance. Where there was fear, there will be strength. Where there was shame, there will be laughter. It is happening now, not by your striving, but by your surrender. If you can, whisper this prayer with me. Father, I forgive what I never understood. I release the pain that never belonged to me. I stand in the blood of Jesus, and I declare, the curse ends here. Every generational wound is now healed in your name. I step into mercy, I walk in freedom, and I seal my bloodline in the light of Christ. Amen. Do you feel that peace beginning to rise in your spirit? That's not just emotion, that's the divine exchange. Heaven is taking what was heavy and replacing it with holiness. The ache that's leaving your chest is the sound of the curse lifting. You don't have to fix what heaven is already healing. Archangel Michael bows his head and says, "The courts of heaven have recorded this day. The generational case is closed. Mercy has overruled the accusation. Breathe, beloved. The story has changed. From this moment forward, you walk not as the wounded, but as the healer. You are not the echo of your ancestors' pain. You are the answer to their prayer. Heaven rejoices because you chose to listen, because you said yes to healing that extends beyond your lifetime. You are stepping into a fresh timeline where the next generation will know peace instead of trauma, safety instead of fear, abundance instead of scarcity. Let joy begin to flow again. Let your spirit exhale. The battle behind you has been handled by heaven's might. And now that the curse is breaking, heaven whispers your next instruction. It's time to rebuild your identity. Beloved, stay with me. The next part will show you who you truly are beneath the pain, what the enemy tried to bury and what heaven is now restoring. Beloved, lean in closely. You've been through storms that didn't just bruise your heart, they tried to rewrite who you believed you were. You forgot who you were because something tried to bury your worth. Every lie, every rejection, every season of silence, it all had one assignment: to make you forget your divine name. But heaven is speaking now through the voice of truth. I have called you by name, you are mine. That is Isaiah 43:1, and it is being spoken over you again, fresh, alive, and personal. Heaven doesn't call you by your failure. It doesn't label you by your past. It calls you by the name that was written for you before you ever walked into your first battle. The enemy has always feared your identity more than your actions. He doesn't care what you lose, he fears what you remember. Because when a child of God remembers who they are, chains fall without struggle. When you know you are chosen, loved, and seen, no darkness can intimidate you. Archangel Michael stands before you now as a guardian of remembrance. His presence carries authority, but also tenderness. His sword is not drawn in threat, it's drawn in defense of your name. The light that surrounds him is not to frighten you, it's to illuminate the truth you forgot. Heaven says, your identity is not broken, it's buried under ashes I am blowing away. There were moments you accepted lies spoken over you because they sounded familiar. People said you were too much, too late, too emotional, too weak, too behind. You began to believe that your sensitivity was a flaw instead of a gift, that your compassion was weakness instead of strength. The enemy whispered, "You're invisible." And slowly, without realizing it, you began to hide your light. But listen carefully. Hiding is not humility, it's heartbreak. And heaven has come to uncover you. You are not broken, you are in transformation. The cocoon is not the grave, it's the womb of rebirth. Every moment that felt like loss was shaping you into something unshakable. Archangel Michael declares, you were never disqualified, you were being refined. Do you see it now? The moments when you thought God was silent were actually the times heaven was rewriting your identity at a deeper level. Your confidence wasn't destroyed, it was being purified of false attachments. The identity that depended on people's approval is gone. What remains is your true self, the one who walks in the light, who knows heaven's language, who doesn't need validation to be valuable. Let me remind you, you were created in divine image, carrying heaven's fingerprint. That means no failure, no rejection, no betrayal has the power to remove the original design written in your spirit. Even when life buried you in disappointment, your essence never changed. You are still light, you are still chosen, you are still seen. Archangel Michael whispers now, you have been fighting shadows that were never meant to define you. Those shadows came to distract you, not to name you. The real you is still here, standing, radiant, unbreakable. The enemy tries to steal identity through lies and distortion. He twists truth into self-criticism. He turns mistakes into permanent labels. He says, you'll never recover, when heaven says, you're just beginning. He magnifies shame until you forget how to speak life over yourself. But hear this revelation: protection begins with identity. The enemy cannot curse what heaven has already claimed. The moment you reclaim your divine identity, you step into untouchable ground. You become the reflection of the promise that cannot be erased. You were never called to live timidly. You were created to carry heaven's confidence, the quiet authority that says, I am covered, I am chosen, I am His. The same way the enemy tried to rename Daniel, Joseph, and Jesus himself, he tries to rename you, but heaven never changes its records. God's handwriting over your life remains unchanged. Isaiah 62:2 says, you will be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow. That new name isn't given when you're perfect, it's revealed when you're ready to believe again. The lies that tried to bury you are being burned away by divine fire. The smoke may still linger, but the ashes are proof of victory. Every word that tried to reduce you is being replaced by heaven's decree. You are mine, you are loved, you are not lost, you are found in me. Archangel Michael raises his voice now. Lift your head, beloved. The heavens have spoken your true name again. Walk in it. No shame can follow you here. Do you feel that warmth in your spirit? That's identity settling back into place. The confusion in your mind is beginning to clear. The heaviness in your chest is being replaced by calm assurance. You're not striving to prove yourself anymore. You're remembering yourself. Say this softly with me. Father, I return to my true name. I release every false label. I let go of every identity that pain assigned to me. I receive your voice again, the one that called me chosen, beloved, and free. Now pause, let the silence speak. In that quiet, heaven is pouring oil over your heart. That oil is healing the wounds that made you forget who you are. The memories that once triggered shame are being rewritten as testimonies of survival. You don't need to earn your identity, you need to remember it. You are the reflection of divine design. Every cell of your being carries heaven's signature. When the enemy whispers, "You are nothing," answer with truth. I am known. I am chosen. I am called by name. When he reminds you of failure, answer with grace. I am forgiven and still becoming. When fear says, "You don't belong," answer with authority. I was written into heaven's story before the beginning. Archangel Michael stands before you now, holding a mirror of light. Look into it not with your eyes, but with your spirit. Do you see the reflection? That's not the broken version of you, it's the redeemed one. The one heaven always saw. The one the enemy tried to cover with shame. Heaven says, "You have been through fire, but you were not burned. You walked through water, but you were not drowned. The trials didn't change your name, they revealed it." This is the beginning of restoration. You are being reminded, reclaimed, and realigned. The covering around you is not fragile, it's eternal. You were not saved to hide, you were saved to shine. Let your heart receive this final word. You are not an accident, you are an answer. You are not forgotten, you are favored. You are not broken, you are being built. Heaven's perspective is the only one that defines you. Archangel Michael closes his eyes, lifting his sword heavenward, and the sound of his voice becomes like thunder and comfort at once. Let the identity of this child be sealed again under divine light. Every false word spoken is void. Every stolen name is restored. Their spirit remembers now. You are stepping out of disguise and into destiny. The false coverings are falling away, and what remains is radiant truth. Now breathe deeply. Can you feel the peace settling on your shoulders? That's heaven clothing you again in your rightful garment, honor, confidence, protection. Your worth has always been infinite. Your calling has always been sacred. Heaven has always known your name. Stay here in this presence for a moment longer, beloved. Let the truth soak deep. You don't have to fight for your name anymore. It's already written in light. And as your spirit steadies, heaven whispers, the next part will uncover the hidden treasure still inside you, the gift that even darkness couldn't destroy. Stay with me, because what's coming next will reveal what God hid in you that the enemy could never touch. Beloved, take a deep breath. The enemy has thrown his weapons, whispered his lies, and built his traps, but none of it worked. Heaven declares tonight, the devil tried everything, but he couldn't touch what God hid in you. The light that lives within you was never meant to be destroyed. It was covered, yes. Pressed, yes. Tested, absolutely. But it was never vulnerable to destruction. It was sealed inside by the hand of the Creator himself. 2 Corinthians chapter 4:7, NIV, says it clearly. But we have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that this all-surpassing power is from God, and not from us. That means that even when you felt cracked, even when you felt fragile, even when you thought your story was over, heaven was protecting the treasure inside you. You have walked through seasons that tried to convince you that your light was gone. You've survived storms that tried to convince you that your purpose had expired. But the Spirit of the Lord says, I never left what I placed inside of you. It is still glowing. It is still divine. It is still alive. Archangel Michael steps forward now, radiant and resolute. His presence fills the atmosphere with peace and strength. He declares, you still carry heaven's light. What was hidden within you has survived every attack. There were moments the enemy thought he had you cornered. You could feel the pressure. You could feel the darkness closing in. Yet somehow, you kept going. That somehow was heaven. It was the treasure in the clay. It was the divine spark refusing to die. Heaven hid something sacred within you before the first storm ever came. God placed gifts, callings, and assignments in your spirit that even betrayal couldn't corrupt, even heartbreak couldn't erase, even disappointment couldn't dissolve. Every time life tried to break you, heaven whispered, they can crack the jar, but they can't touch the treasure. You have always carried light. It's what made darkness so desperate to silence you. It's why you've been misunderstood, attacked, or underestimated, because what heaven hides, hell fears. Archangel Michael lifts his voice again. Your calling has not expired. Your anointing has not been cancelled. Every delay was training for discernment. Every wound became a window for glory. You are not who the world said you were. You are not what failure made you feel. You are a carrier of divine presence, a living vessel of eternal purpose. Heaven says your story is not about survival anymore. It's about recovery. This is the moment you begin to reclaim what's been dormant inside of you. Beloved, listen carefully. The same light that spoke the stars into being is the same light that lives inside you. You were not made just to exist. You were made to illuminate. And though you've walked through shadowed valleys, the light within you never stopped burning. Sometimes it flickered, sometimes it dimmed, sometimes you almost believed it was gone. But that light was never dependent on your emotions, it was dependent on God's promise. You see, when heaven hides something, it's not concealment, it's protection. God hid your gift where the enemy could never reach it, inside your spirit. The devil can touch circumstances, but he cannot touch the eternal. He can shake your confidence, but he cannot cancel your calling. He can try to confuse your mind, but he cannot corrupt your essence. Even in your lowest moments, when you questioned your value, heaven was whispering, "My child, your worth is not in your performance, it's in your design. You are a carrier of something divine." Heaven wants to remind you that every good thing in you was chosen deliberately. Your compassion, your sensitivity, your voice, your faith, they are not weaknesses. They are weapons of light. Archangel Michael reminds you now, the world may not have recognized your gift, but heaven has guarded it. Every time you felt unseen, heaven saw. Every time you felt overlooked, heaven watched. Every time you thought you were forgotten, angels were standing guard. The gifts inside of you survived trauma, heartbreak, rejection, and delay. And now, heaven says it's time to uncover them again. This is the season where purpose meets healing. The same light that healed you is now the light that will heal others through you. The pain you endured was not punishment, it was preparation. The tears you shed watered the ground where your new calling is about to grow. The attacks didn't destroy you. They revealed how indestructible you are when heaven's treasure is within you. Say this softly. What God placed inside me is untouchable. My light cannot be dimmed. My purpose is rising again. You are awakening now, not just to who you are, but to why you are. Heaven has been aligning every detail, every delay, every detour, to bring you to this very point of remembrance. You didn't lose yourself, you were being refined. You didn't fall behind, you were being prepared. You didn't fail, you were being fortified. The treasure inside you was never about worldly success. It was about eternal significance. You are heaven's answer wrapped in human form. You were chosen to bring light into places where hope was fading. You carry healing in your voice, peace in your presence, and deliverance in your prayer. Archangel Michael says, "The moment you accept who you truly are, the enemy loses jurisdiction. The moment you walk in your purpose, protection strengthens around you. Protection begins to flow more freely when identity and purpose align. The enemy can't hit what's hidden in obedience. When you walk in the will of God, heaven's covering becomes impenetrable." The Holy Spirit whispers, You were not made to live afraid. You were made to live aware. You were not created to be perfect. You were created to carry presence. Now, beloved, let this sink into your heart. You have survived everything that tried to steal your song, and now heaven says, sing again. The anointing that once flowed from your spirit is returning stronger. The creativity that went quiet is awakening. The faith that once trembled is standing tall. The joy that was buried under fatigue is rising like morning sun. You are in recovery, yes, but not recovering what was lost. You are recovering what was hidden. You are stepping back into your design, the way heaven always saw you. Lift your hands if you can and say, Father, thank you for the treasure you placed in me. Thank you for protecting it even when I couldn't see it. I receive this light again. I step back into purpose. I reclaim what you hid in me. And I dedicate it back to you. As you pray, imagine that light within you glowing brighter, expanding outward, touching your surroundings, restoring your confidence, reawakening your peace. That's not imagination, it's manifestation. Heaven is fanning the flame. Archangel Michael's voice comes once more, steady and full of authority. The enemy's reach ends here. What is sealed by heaven cannot be stolen. The treasure is intact, the light remains, and it will now shine again. Beloved, you have nothing to prove, only something to reveal. The gift in you is proof that God trusted you with His glory. Walk with your head lifted high. The treasure has been preserved through every storm, and now it's time to let it shine. This is not the end of your recovery, it is the beginning of your radiance. You are moving from hidden pain to revealed purpose, from quiet survival to confident calling, from shadow to light. Stay with me, because heaven is not finished yet. Now that you've remembered your purpose and reclaimed your light, the next part will activate your protection, the shield that has always surrounded you, waiting for your awareness to awaken it. The treasure has been found. The light is alive. Now heaven says, let's begin to build the wall of divine protection around it. Beloved, listen carefully, because heaven is speaking protection over you tonight. You were never defenseless. Even in the moments when you thought you were completely uncovered, heaven had already placed a shield around you, even in your sleep. You may not realize it, but there have been nights when unseen danger circled near, and yet you woke up unharmed. There have been decisions that almost went wrong, moments where harm was just a breath away, but grace intervened. You did not survive by coincidence. You were protected by covenant. Heaven says, my child, my covering has never left you. The shield around you is not broken. The word confirms this in Psalm 91:4 NIV. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. His faithfulness, not your performance, not your strength, not your perfection. His faithfulness is your shield. That means even when you felt unworthy, unprepared, or unaware, the covering remained intact. Heaven's protection does not expire because of your weakness. It remains because of His promise. Archangel Michael steps forward now, radiant in strength yet gentle in presence. His voice carries the calm weight of authority. You were not unguarded. You were assigned protection long before you even knew there would be a battle. Every child of God carries an unseen security system, a divine shield that moves with you through day and night. The enemy sees it, even when you can't. And that is why he tries to convince you that you're vulnerable. Because fear makes you forget your covering, but heaven reminds you, you are not exposed. You are enclosed. Some of what you've been saved from, you'll never know. The accident that didn't happen. The sickness that was redirected. the attack that was cancelled before it reached you, the words spoken against you that dissolved in the air. You were not lucky. You were covered. Heaven's armies have surrounded you like an invisible wall of light. Even in your sleep, when your mind rests and your guard is down, angels keep watch. There are moments when Archangel Michael himself stands at the threshold of your home, sword drawn, ensuring that no darkness crosses the boundary. When you feel fear creeping in, remember this truth. The shield around you is spiritual, not fragile. It doesn't crack under pressure. It doesn't fade when you doubt. It doesn't shrink when storms come. It is upheld by the Word of God, and the Word never fails. Ephesians 6:13-16 reminds us of this. Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Notice that it doesn't say, if the day of evil comes. It says, when. Heaven prepared your armor in advance. You were never meant to be the target. You were meant to be the testimony. Archangel Michael explains, the shield that surrounds you is not made of earthly material. It is woven from faith, obedience, and divine promise. When you worship, it strengthens. When you speak truth, it expands. When you rest in trust, it solidifies. That's right. Even your rest is a weapon. When you rest in God, you are declaring, the battle is not mine, it belongs to the Lord. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, you fortify your covering. Every time you sleep in confidence that heaven is watching, you activate divine defense. You do not need to see angels to believe they are present. You do not need to understand every mystery to live under miracle protection. Your part is trust. Heaven's part is defense. Beloved, listen, the enemy thrives on your exhaustion. He wants you to think protection requires constant striving. But the truth is, protection flows from surrender. It is born in rest. When you stop trying to fight battles that heaven already won, you begin to walk in victory that never wavers. You've felt tired because you've been carrying armor that was never meant to be heavy. God's armor fits lightly when you trust it fully. It's not a burden, it's a blessing. Repeat this with me. I am covered. I am protected. The shield around me is not broken. Let that declaration echo through your atmosphere. Let fear begin to lose its grip. You are surrounded by light that cannot be penetrated. The fiery arrows of the enemy dissolve before they reach you because your faith, your trust, becomes an impenetrable wall. Archangel Michael says, you have been kept by divine command. The enemy's reach ends at heaven's boundary line. Nothing can touch you without passing through God's permission, and His permission always carries purpose. So do not interpret your trials as abandonment. Sometimes heaven allows the storm to show you the strength of your shelter. Every test becomes proof that the covering still holds. Take this moment and thank God for the unseen protection that has carried you this far. Thank Him for the mornings you woke without knowing that danger was diverted. Thank Him for the nights when His hand shielded your dreams from torment. Thank Him for the angels standing guard right now as you listen. You are safe, not because you feel it, but because heaven decreed it. If this message is confirming something in your spirit, say it out loud. I am covered. Type it in the comments if you're watching this as a prophetic act of agreement. I am covered. And if you haven't already, subscribe and stay under this prophetic flow, because every word that follows is part of your ongoing covering. Heaven is building a wall of faith around those who stay aligned with its voice. This is not superstition, it's supernatural truth. You are being drawn into a divine rhythm, protection through alignment, rest through trust, peace through presence. Feel that peace settling now. That's not imagination. That's the reality of Psalm 91 moving from promise to manifestation. You are not walking into your next season alone. Archangel Michael has been assigned long before you knew the battle existed. His presence does not leave when you rest. It intensifies. Heaven says, sleep without fear, wake without worry, move without hesitation. You are surrounded. The sound you hear in the spirit is the clash of swords on your behalf, angels cutting down assignments meant to distract or destroy. Every arrow of fear, anxiety, or illness loses its power in the presence of divine faithfulness. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. That word rampart means a protective barrier, a wall of defense built high and strong. That's what surrounds you now. A wall of light higher than any attack, stronger than any curse, wider than any fear. You can rest inside it. You can breathe again. You can trust that what you cannot see is already working in your favor. Archangel Michael lifts his sword one more time, tracing a circle of light around you. You may not see it, but your spirit feels it, a warmth, a calm, a safety that settles deep. He declares, by the authority of heaven the shield is intact, the covering stands, the chosen are secured under the wings of the Almighty. Beloved, you are safe. You are guarded. You are not walking through chaos unprotected. You are walking beneath command. Heaven's order is already established and no force can override it. Now, take this truth and rest in it tonight. You were never defenseless. The protection around you has not cracked under pressure. It stands unbroken, unshaken, unending. And as peace floods your heart, heaven whispers softly, now that you know you are covered, it's time to extend that covering. In the next part, we'll cover your home and your family. Stay with me, because what's coming next will seal not just your safety, but the safety of everyone connected to your life. Even when your loved ones ran from God, angels never stopped standing guard. You've been praying for them in whispers, crying for them in silence, hoping for them through sleepless nights. This is about your family, your house, the people you've carried in your spirit for years. And tonight, heaven speaks directly to you. They are not forsaken. Even when they walked away, even when they mocked the very faith you clung to, even when they slipped into darkness and danger. Angels stayed. Archangel Michael stood watch. You don't see all that was stopped in the spirit, the wreck that didn't happen, the call that changed their path, the intervention that looked like coincidence but was divine resistance. Isaiah 54:13 says, all your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. You may not see it yet, but the teaching has begun. The word is chasing them. The presence of God is pulling at their hearts, even when they pretend they don't feel it. And you are not just their mother, not just their sibling, not just their spouse. You are their intercessor. You've been standing in the gap, praying when no one asked you to, weeping when no one knew why, calling heaven into rooms you've never even entered. And heaven has answered. Archangel Michael was assigned to your bloodline. He's been standing between them and destruction. He's been rerouting what was meant to destroy them. He's been lifting the shield even when they rejected the sword. This is the truth. Their rebellion didn't cancel God's plan. Their wandering didn't void your prayers. Their delay didn't change their destiny. God is not finished with them, and God is not angry with you. You haven't failed your family. You've been fighting for them in the spirit. and heaven honors you for it. Let go of the guilt. Release the pressure. You were never meant to save them in your own strength. You were meant to invite heaven in, and you did. Every time you whispered their name before God, every time you walked the floor instead of giving up, every time you stayed when the enemy said walk away, you activated angelic intervention. Even now, Michael stands post at your family's door, not allowing what once ruled your bloodline to take another generation. Addiction? It ends here. Poverty? It's being reversed. Abuse, rejection, abandonment, fear, unbelief? All of it is being dismantled because you stayed faithful. They may not say thank you, they may not understand, but you're not doing this for applause. You're doing it because love intercedes, because heaven placed this assignment in your hands, and you are not alone. There are prayers you prayed 10 years ago that are still echoing in heaven's courts. There are tears that planted seeds, and now it's harvest time. Reconciliation is beginning, healing is blooming, restoration is moving into motion. You may not see it all at once, but you will start to feel the shift. Don't give up because the prodigal hasn't returned yet. Heaven hasn't stopped following them. Heaven is relentless, and heaven is invested, because when you gave them to God, He took that seriously. Even now, He's working through divine dreams, closed doors, unusual kindness, unexpected discomfort, whatever it takes to get their attention. And here's what you need to know. Their destiny is still intact. The calling is still alive. The promises are still yes and amen. You have not lost your family. You've handed them over to the safest place possible, the hands of God. And that is not surrender. It is spiritual strategy. They are going to remember who they are. They are going to encounter grace in the most unexpected way. They are going to walk back into the light, because someone kept the light on. That someone was you. You've been the candle in the window, the watchman at the gate, the silent warrior who never got credit, but caught heaven's eye. And heaven is moving, don't doubt it. Tonight, speak their names, one by one. Let the angels take those names like scrolls and deliver them into heaven's court. Say this: God, I give you, insert their name. I trust you to bring them home. I trust you to protect them. I trust you to finish what you started. Your obedience is a seed, and the harvest is beginning. This is about generational healing. This is about restoring what trauma tried to break. This is about redemption for your house. You are not the end of your family's story. You are the turning point. Don't be surprised if the phone rings, if they open up, if you feel led to forgive without an apology, if you feel the sudden need to anoint your doorposts or to speak a blessing over your children while they sleep. These are not random. These are prophetic instructions. Heaven is building something through you. Let it begin. Let it rise. Because your family is not forsaken, not forgotten, not discarded. They are under divine pursuit. Michael has not left. The angels have not withdrawn. The assignment is still active, and so is your hope. Hold the line. Pray the prayer. Keep the door open. The ones who wandered will remember the way home. The ones who doubted will see the truth. The ones who broke your heart will be part of the healing. Because God never gave up, and neither did you. Bridge. There's something still trying to return to your house, an old pattern, a spiritual attack wearing a familiar face. But don't worry, we'll stop it next. Stay with me. The door is about to be sealed. The past can't enter what heaven is restoring. Beloved, feel this in your spirit. That same pattern tried to re-enter your life, but this time, heaven blocked it. What once slipped in through the cracks, what once entangled your emotions, what once lured you back into old pain, it came knocking again. But this time, heaven stood at the threshold. Archangel Michael, sword drawn and authority burning like fire, stood guard and said, "Not this time, not again." The same enemy who whispered through past seasons tried to whisper again. But the echo didn't reach you because you've changed, you've grown, you've been covered, and heaven made it clear, the door is shut. Isaiah 59:19, KJV, gives us this promise. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. That word standard means a divine wall, a holy stop sign, a heavenly intervention. And beloved, that's exactly what just happened in your life. You may have felt something try to creep back in, old habits, toxic relationships, temptations that once enslaved you, patterns of addiction or self-sabotage. They circled like familiar voices saying, "Just once more." But heaven rose like a wall of fire and said, "No more." What tried to return was recognized in the spirit realm. Archangel Michael speaks now. It wasn't just a decision you made. It was a battle we fought for you in the unseen. You've wondered, why did that person walk away so suddenly? Why didn't that opportunity work out even though it looked good? Why did the door close when I prayed for it to open? Here's the answer. You weren't being rejected, you were being protected. Sometimes protection looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like a lost chance. Sometimes it feels like heartbreak. But heaven sees what you can't, and what looks like disappointment is often a divine blockade against destruction. The enemy doesn't always come with horns. He comes with what feels familiar. He disguises the trap in the form of comfort. But God knew that if it had entered again, it would have undone the healing you've been walking through. So heaven stood at the door, and heaven said, "Not this time." You didn't lose the relationship, you escaped the cycle. You didn't miss the opportunity, you were rerouted to protection. You didn't fail, you were preserved. Archangel Michael whispers with fierce tenderness, "You don't even know how close the enemy came this time, but I stood between you and the threat. The moment you aligned your heart with heaven, we sealed the door. And now you know. The pattern ends with you. That addiction that tried to pull you in again, denied. That trauma bond that tried to reconnect, denied. That fear that tried to rise again and paralyze you, denied. That shame that tried to visit in the night, denied. Heaven says, it may have come in before, but it won't enter again. I have placed a seal around you. Take a moment and breathe. The relief you're feeling right now is not just emotional, it's spiritual confirmation. What once passed through the cracks no longer has legal access. The door has been marked, the line has been drawn, and heaven has said, "This soul is protected." Beloved, sometimes we mourn what left without realizing it was grace that pushed it out. That person, that offer, that season that ended abruptly, it wasn't a mistake. It was mercy in disguise. Say this with me, I trust God's no as much as I trust His yes. Because sometimes the no is what saves your future. Archangel Michael is standing at your gates even now, and what tried to slither its way back into your life is now being pushed back beyond the line of divine permission. Heaven's armies are surrounding your space, cleansing the air, and replacing old chaos with divine peace. Let the tears fall if they need to. This is not just about protection, it's about reclamation. You are not being punished for your past. You're being prepared for your future. You didn't miss your chance. You were spared the counterfeit so you can receive the true promise. You are not stuck. You are shielded. You are not cursed. You are chosen. You are not behind. You are being built for something pure. Heaven says, what you thought was delay was actually deliverance. You've grown too much to go back. You've healed too deeply to return to what once broke you. Your discernment has sharpened. Your light has intensified. The old cannot survive in the atmosphere of your new. Say this out loud. I don't mourn what heaven blocked. I honor what heaven preserved in me. Archangel Michael declares, you have passed the test. What once had a grip on your soul has lost its access. You are no longer a prisoner of repetition. You are free by decree. Feel the shift now. That weight you've been carrying, the inner pressure, the spiritual tug of war, it's lifting. The enemy has left the gate. Heaven has resecured the perimeter. You can exhale now. This is not just recovery, this is holy reversal. Your past will not repeat. The cycle is broken, and what tried to sneak in through familiarity has been exposed and expelled. You are not fragile, you are fortified. You are not barely hanging on, you are divinely upheld. The patterns that plagued your last season will not follow you into the next. Heaven says, you are stepping into restoration without contamination. You are moving forward without residue. The fire that once burned you now becomes the light that leads you. And now, beloved, stand in your authority. You're not just someone who survived. You are someone who carries the mark of divine separation. Type it in faith right now. The pattern is broken. Heaven blocked it. I am preserved. Let that be your war cry and your peace prayer all at once. You don't need to defend yourself when heaven has already drawn the line. The fire didn't consume you, it purified you. The storm didn't drown you, it trained you. The rejection didn't destroy you, it redirected you. And now we shift. Now that heaven has closed the door on what tried to return, it's time to anoint what comes next. Beloved, stay close, because in the next part, we'll begin to speak over your future. We will begin to cover the days ahead, the relationships to come, the joy that's about to overflow. Heaven is ready to restore what the enemy was never meant to touch. Stay with me, the door is shut, and what's ahead is holy. Beloved, pause for just a moment. Place your hand over your heart and breathe, because heaven is speaking something tender and powerful over you right now. God didn't say no, He said, wait until it's healed and safe. Those unanswered prayers, those doors that never opened, the dreams that seemed to crumble right when you believed, they weren't denied. They were delayed for your protection, postponed until your spirit could receive them without breaking under the weight of them. You thought it was over, but heaven never closed the book. And now, with holy gentleness, the pages are being turned again. The story isn't finished. It's entering its most redemptive chapter yet. God is not just giving you something new. He's giving you back what was meant for you all along. Joel 2:25 NIV speaks this promise clearly. I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. The years you felt robbed, the energy you lost to grief, the love you gave that was never returned, the time you spent waiting, wondering, hoping. Heaven is not ignoring those years. Heaven is restoring them. Archangel Michael steps forward with a voice like steady thunder and healing rain. The restoration has begun. What was broken is being rebuilt. What was delayed is being delivered. What was wounded is being healed. You see, what you lost wasn't lost to the void. It was preserved in the vault of heaven, not wasted, not discarded, held, guarded, awaiting the moment of return. You've spent so long grieving what slipped away that you forgot to expect recovery. But now, the wind is shifting. And heaven whispers, this is your season of restoration. Not just spiritually, but completely. Restoration in time, the sense that you've fallen behind will vanish as doors open at just the right hour. Restoration in finances, the provision you were owed, the dreams you shelved, the goals you deferred because of lack. Those are coming back with interest. Restoration in peace, the kind that lets you sleep deeply again, laugh freely again, love without flinching again. Heaven is not just bringing back what was stolen, it's multiplying what was preserved. Restoration doesn't mean you go back to how things were. It means you step into what they were always meant to be, purified, refined, and safe. Archangel Michael declares, you are not returning to where you were. You are moving into what was always yours. Restoration doesn't just return what was lost, it rebuilds it stronger than before. And now, beloved, heaven invites you to become a part of the rebuilding. This is not a passive season, this is a co-laboring season. You are not just receiving from heaven, you are working with heaven. Heaven says, speak life over what looked dead. Water the ground with faith again. Step forward with boldness. What you touch now will grow. Some things have been waiting for your agreement, waiting for you to believe again, to try again, to hope again. They've been lying dormant like seeds beneath snow, not dead, just hidden until the right season. And the season is now. You may ask, but what if I fail again? What if I'm not strong enough to carry it this time? And heaven answers, you are not who you were when it left. You are stronger now, wiser now, covered now. You are being trusted with recovery because you've proven you'll steward it differently this time. You won't self-sabotage. You won't hide from the blessing. You won't fear the light. Instead, you will walk into restoration fully awake, fully grounded, and fully protected. And yes, there may be emotions that rise, because sometimes receiving restoration feels almost harder than grieving the loss. But this time, let your spirit rise above fear. Let your faith anchor you. Say this aloud now, even through trembling lips. I receive heaven's restoration. I believe it's not too late. I believe nothing was wasted. Archangel Michael speaks again. Your name has been marked on heaven's restoration list. Angels are already in motion. The seeds of restoration have already been planted, and the harvest is approaching swiftly. Beloved, restoration doesn't mean everything goes back to the way it was. It means you're getting heaven's best version of what was meant for you all along. Sometimes that's the same relationship, but with healing. Sometimes it's a new opportunity that carries the same dream, but with safety. Sometimes it's peace where chaos once lived. But in every version, it's better, it's purer, it's right. And now, begin to open your hands. Not clenched in grief, not trembling in fear, but open, in readiness. Heaven is filling your hands again, but this time you will know how to carry it. This time you won't confuse peace with emptiness. You won't sabotage stillness with distraction. Heaven says, you are ready now, and I am restoring what you didn't even realize you still needed. Say it again. I receive heaven's restoration. I am in alignment. I am not behind. I am being rebuilt. Let peace rise. Let hope rise. Let your heartbeat begin to sync with heaven's rhythm again. You are no longer standing in the ruins of what was. You are standing at the edge of what's being restored. Archangel Michael lifts his hand now, and a golden wind begins to blow in the spirit. It's gentle, but powerful, like the breath of God Himself breathing over every dry place. This wind is touching timelines, awakening forgotten dreams, repairing broken strands of destiny. This is the moment. This is the reversal. This is the divine rebuild. What once looked like rubble will become a sanctuary. What once looked like delay will become acceleration. What once looked like abandonment will become evidence of divine preservation. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far. You are right on time for the miracle of restoration. If this resonates in your spirit, type in faith. Restoration has begun. I am ready. Heaven hears it. Angels respond to it. And the process accelerates when you come into agreement. Take one more deep breath. Let go of the fear that it's too good to be true. Let go of the pressure to earn what heaven wants to give freely. Let go of the shame that tells you you missed your moment. Because you haven't missed anything. Heaven has simply been preparing everything. And now, beloved, as restoration begins to rise around you, heaven gently speaks one more word. Before the final shift begins, I want you to release fear. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll confront fear face to face and remove its last grip from your destiny. The final barrier is about to break. Beloved, listen closely. Every chain has broken, except the one made of fear, that silent fear, of trusting again, of stepping forward, of being fully seen, of failing again, of loving again, of being disappointed again. You've come so far. You've survived the battle. You've endured the storm. Heaven has covered your past, redeemed your identity, and spoken life over what was lost. But there's one last barrier between you and full freedom, and it's invisible. Fear. Not just fear of external threats, but the kind that whispers in the night. What if I'm not ready? What if it happens again? What if I lose it all after I've finally started healing? But heaven didn't bring you this far to leave you halfway healed. 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds you exactly what hasn't been placed inside you. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. Archangel Michael stands before you now, not with a sword, but with an invitation. Heaven doesn't just want to fight for you, heaven wants to partner with you. This is your moment to renounce fear, to say aloud that you are done being ruled by shadows and lies. You've seen how the enemy works. Confusion, delay, distraction. You've watched patterns break and restoration begin. Now let's face fear directly, not with trembling, but with truth. Because fear is not who you are, it's just what tried to keep you from becoming who you are. Let your voice be heard. Right now. Say it aloud. I renounce fear. I choose faith. I choose forward. Speak it again if your voice trembles. Speak it until your soul believes it. Speak it until fear flees. Because you're not speaking into the air. You're speaking into the spirit realm. You are drawing a line, and heaven responds. Archangel Michael stands with you and declares, the fear that followed you ends here. It will not follow you into the next chapter. You are crossing into freedom, not dragging fear behind you like a shadow. This isn't just emotional courage. This is prophetic action. You're not just trying to be brave. You are reclaiming authority that was always yours. Do you know why fear hits hardest right before breakthrough? Because fear is the final resistance. When every other chain has broken, fear becomes the last weapon. But tonight, it breaks. Because tonight, you decide. You've survived too much to stay bound to fear. You've healed too deeply to bow to it again. You've seen too much of God's goodness to expect disaster. And now, this sacred moment, this holy line in the sand, is here for you to cross. With every fiber of your soul, choose heaven's invitation. I will not fear the future. I will not fear disappointment. I will not fear failure. I will not fear love. I will not fear joy. I will not fear peace. Let these declarations fall from your lips like sacred fire. I am not who fear says I am. I am who God says I am. I am healed. I am covered. I am brave. I am free. Fear cannot cling to the soul that has been touched by light. And you, beloved one, you are radiant with heaven's flame. Even now, angelic forces are encircling you, not to fight this time, but to witness your surrender. Because surrendering fear is not weakness, it is worship. It is telling heaven, I trust you more than I trust my fear. And in this moment, something unseen begins to fall off. A heavy garment you didn't even realize you were wearing. A shadowed veil of, what if, not again, I can't, I'm not ready. It unravels, it lifts, and what remains? Peace, clarity, strength, freedom. If something is breaking open inside you right now, don't stay silent. Let your voice join thousands of others. Comment in faith, I renounce fear. Speak it publicly, boldly. Let the spirit world see your alignment. Let fear know it no longer has a room in your mind. Let heaven hear your yes. Let others witness your courage and follow your lead. Then, subscribe to this sanctuary of restoration, because healing doesn't happen in one moment, it unfolds over time. And heaven is building a rhythm in your life where daily alignment protects your breakthrough. Share this message with someone who needs to break that final chain. There is someone else carrying fear right now, just as you once did, and your courage may be the key to theirs. Be the breaker, be the witness, be the echo of freedom. Because fear thrives in isolation, but dies in community. And tonight you are no longer alone. You are surrounded. You are seen. You are shielded. Now breathe. Place your hand over your chest again. Say aloud, fear, you no longer belong here. I am no longer your home. I evict you in the name of Jesus. I welcome courage. I welcome peace. I welcome the future. Heaven responds to declarations like this. The spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting, not because you tried harder, but because you believed louder. You didn't earn this freedom. You received it, and you receive by saying yes, by releasing fear, by aligning your soul with truth. And now, beloved, the light you feel, that's peace replacing fear. That's the divine inhale after the spiritual exhale. That's the Father saying, welcome home to your strength. Archangel Michael bows in reverence, not to your perfection, but to your surrender. Heaven honors those who choose truth in the face of fear. And tonight, you chose. So now, let's look ahead, because something incredible is coming. Now that fear is broken, the path forward is clear. In the next part, we will speak directly to your future, with heaven's words, not fear's predictions. You'll hear what God sees in your tomorrow. You'll feel the shield wrapping around not just you, but your home, your children, your purpose. But first, seal this breakthrough. Comment now, I renounce fear. Subscribe and stay in this flow of divine restoration, because what's coming next is not just a message. It's a prophetic unveiling of your next chapter, and it begins with peace. So take one more breath, exhale the last remnants of fear, and lean in, because now, heaven speaks peace over your future. The voice of calm after the storm, the sound of a door opening. You're ready. Let's step forward together. You don't have to figure it all out. Heaven already mapped your next steps. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly, because what comes next is not chaos, it's not confusion, it's not scrambling or striving. What comes next is orchestrated. You've walked through the fire. You've broken the chains. You've renounced fear and released the weights. Now comes the transition, the holy movement forward. But hear this clearly. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into the unfolding of what heaven has already prepared. Psalm 121:8 says, "The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore." That's not poetic exaggeration. That's divine guarantee. It means the same God who guarded your yesterdays has already stationed angels at the doors of your tomorrows. The road ahead is not empty. It is guarded. Archangel Michael, your defender, your warrior, your heavenly companion, is not leaving now that the battle has calmed. No. He walks ahead of you, clearing what you cannot see, disarming what was set to delay you. Closing doors that look tempting but lead to traps, opening gates that lead to peace even if they scare you at first glance. What's ahead of you is not random. It's not a guessing game. It's not a fragile series of human decisions. It's divinely timed, divinely directed. Heaven is not reactive. Heaven is prepared. You are not being thrown into a new season without help. You are being escorted into it with honor. And even now, heaven whispers, you don't have to figure it all out, just stay in alignment. Let go of the pressure to perform. Let go of the expectation to get it right every step. Let go of the anxiety that says you'll mess up what's sacred. Because protection doesn't just cover your past, it covers your progress. God doesn't only guard what was, He guards what will be. You don't have to know every detail. You only need to take the next step, in peace. Archangel Michael is not just assigned to battles, he's assigned to transitions. To accompany the chosen ones from survival to significance. From surviving storms to sailing in purpose. Let this truth settle in. The same God who healed your yesterday has already prepared your next chapter, not with pressure, but with peace, not with fear, but with favor. The enemy is not waiting at your next door, angels are. Your next breakthrough is not a gamble, it's a promise. You are not walking alone, you are moving with heaven's blessing. So today, you are invited, not to hustle, not to strive, but to walk forward in peace. You've fought enough, you've cried enough, you've waited long enough. Now, it's time to move, not with panic, but with presence. The presence of the one who guards your going out and your coming in. Say this out loud. I don't need to control what's next. I trust the one who goes before me. I release the need to know it all. I walk in peace, not performance. That's how this new chapter begins. Not with plans, but with posture. Not with pressure, but with promise. Archangel Michael is clearing the path. The Spirit is whispering direction. Heaven is watching your steps, not judging them. And your Father is smiling, not because you're perfect, but because you're present. You showed up, you surrendered, you stayed when it was hard. And now, it's time to go forward. But this time, protected. This time, guided. This time, covered. Let heaven's rhythm set your pace. Let peace be the compass. Let divine timing be your clock. And even if you don't know where the next step leads, say this: I am not afraid of forward, because forward is already guarded. This is a sacred transition moment. It's the space between what was and what will be. And the Spirit of God is hovering over your next steps, not in judgment, but in joy. So don't rush, don't overthink, just breathe. And move when heaven moves you. The pressure is off, the grace is on, the timing is aligned. And the covering has never been stronger. Your path is not empty, it is full of angels, direction, mercy, and favor. Archangel Michael isn't just watching from behind. He's walking ahead, because your purpose is not behind you, it's in motion. This is not the time to turn back. Not after everything that has been healed, broken, and rebuilt. This is the time to move in step with heaven, with quiet confidence, with unshakable peace. So as you prepare for the final part of this journey, take one more breath. And know this: you're not just protected, you're positioned. And the path ahead has already been secured. Bridge to next. And now, before you rise and step into what's next, heaven has one more thing to speak over you. A final blessing, not just over your path, but over your mind, your body, your home, your name, your future. You've walked through fire, now receive the covering of peace. You've broken generational chains, now walk in generational blessing. You've survived, now live, now flourish, now move forward, with heaven going before you. Stay with me. The final part is sacred. It is heaven's benediction, and it's already waiting for you. You can rest now, because the healing has begun and the protection is sealed. You made it, through the fire, through the silence, through the questions, through the battle you couldn't explain, but your spirit felt it. And now, let this be your exhale. Let this be your rest. Let this be the moment heaven tucks you in and says, you are covered, you are sealed, it is finished. This wasn't just another message. This was a divine appointment written into the fabric of time. A holy interruption where the heavens leaned low to meet you. Psalm 121:8 comes full circle. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. That means not just your arrival here, but your departure into tomorrow, your steps forward, your dreams at night, your heart as it heals, your mind as it releases, your family as it finds peace. You are covered, completely. The angels have not departed. Archangel Michael is not withdrawing. He is bowing. Heaven honors your endurance, not because you never doubted, but because you didn't give up. You stayed. You listened. You opened your heart when it was still bruised. You hoped again, even while trembling. So now heaven says, well done, beloved. Receive your peace. The war is not your identity. The wounds are not your name. The story does not end in survival. It continues in glory. Heaven has placed a seal over you, a spiritual mark of protection, healing, and divine ownership. Your mind is covered. Peace will silence the noise. Your body is covered. Healing is flowing like oil. Your family is covered. Cycles are breaking and blessings are forming. Your future is covered. It is not in limbo, it is in alignment. So breathe deeply. Let the atmosphere shift. Let the final tears fall, because these are not tears of grief. These are the tears of release, of being seen, of being restored, of being held. Whisper this with me slowly. I am not too late. I am not forgotten. I am not alone. I am covered. Say it again. This time not as a hope, but as truth. Heaven did not just visit tonight, it claimed you. It placed you back under divine order. It whispered your name in the presence of angels and said, "That one belongs to me." And so you are held in healing, held in timing, held in grace, held in the arms of a God who never looked away. Even when you did, you are safe to rest. Because this was not emotional hype. This was not just spiritual encouragement. This was spiritual reality. The seal has been placed. The assignment has been marked as complete, for now. And the invitation is extended. Come back tomorrow. Let this become your sanctuary, your place of prophetic rest, your altar of daily peace. Because healing is not a one-time miracle, it's a rhythm, it's a relationship, it's a return. And here, in this sanctuary, you are always welcome, always seen, always known. Don't worry if you don't feel completely whole yet. You're not behind, you're in process. And heaven is not rushing you, it is surrounding you. Let this become the rhythm of your nights. Not scrolling in worry, but resting in worship. Not wrestling with your thoughts, but letting truth cradle your soul. Let tonight be a reset. Let it become the night you point back to and say, "That's when things shifted. That's when the fog lifted. That's when I felt heaven move." And even now, Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your room, sword sheathed, mission fulfilled. For this moment, he leaves no breach, no open door, no gap in your covering. The blood of the Lamb is on your doorpost, the shield of heaven is around your mind, the oil of healing is upon your heart. You are sealed, you are marked, you are not who you were when you pressed play. And that's the miracle, that's the mercy, that's the message. Not just of protection, but of identity reclaimed, wounds kissed with grace, and tomorrows lit with divine promise. So now, sleep in peace, not in fear of what might come, but in the confidence of who goes before you. God is already in your tomorrow. Angels are stationed as you sleep. Your name is known in heaven's courts, and your journey is sacred. The voice you've heard tonight is not done speaking, but for now, let rest be your worship. Let silence be your strength. Let trust be your lullaby. Final whisper, as you prepare to drift into holy sleep. The promise is sealed. You are covered. You are deeply loved. And heaven is not done revealing. Return again. This sanctuary waits for you. Peace is waiting. Michael is watching. God is near. It is finished, for now. Rest, beloved. You are covered.